So choose a comfortable posture and set your body upright. Come back to the present moment. Know that your body is adjusting. Know that this body is breathing. So just let the body sit here. Firstly, we need to remind ourselves this body is not ours. It is belong to the nature. We are not the master of this body. And try to come back to be a humble knower to this body. Usually we will look at ourselves as a master. We think that we are the owner of this body and mind. We lack this view. So breathe in and out with ease. It's just like a comfortable summer breeze. Our breath is the wind from the nature. And in such comfortable breeze, let our brain take a rest. Breathe in, relax your brain, and breathe out, relax your brain. You can pay attention to the area of your brain and the area around the eyes to see where there are some tightness, some tension in this area. Usually we have some stress accumulate in these nerves. If we are thinking too much in our daily life, then we feel some kind of tightness in the nervous system. Just look deeply into these areas, feel it, and relax it. let the breath flow in and out naturally. And let your brain completely relax, unfolded, and take a sleep. Take a sleep in the comfortable summer breeze. The breeze is comfortable, it's harmonious. Let the wind bring the message of harmony into our heart. Every breath so breathe in directly to the center of our chest with the message of harmony and peace. And breathe out, release all the stress in this area. Together with the sleeping brain, just let the brain continue to take rest. Breathe in and out, pay attention to the middle area of the chest. The breath is the blessing from the nature. So just open your chest, open your heart, and receive the blessings. And let the nature balance your heart. To feel whether there's some tension at the middle of your chest, and let it be relaxed, let it be healed in the wind of nature. Unfold and open your chest. Our heart is boundless. It is the boundary of self. It is part of nature. breathe in and out, there's only peace and harmony. Meditation is a chance to face ourselves. Only when we can relax our mind, our brain and the heart, then the mind can be awake. There are different levels of relaxation. Relaxing the body, relaxation of the feelings, and the relaxation of the mind. Adjusting our posture and sitting in an upright and relaxed manner. This is to relax the body in a coarse part. And there are also some subtle part of the body, the inner muscles and the nervous system, and relax the brain area. This is the center of our nervous system. And when the nervous system is relaxed, then our brain will be balanced, will be awake. And then we can further to relax our feelings and emotions. The center of our emotions is at the middle of the chest. So relax it with the feeling of peace and harmony or loving kindness. This is to balance our emotion. And finally, we'll go to the stage to relax our mind. Relaxing the mind means relaxing our greed, aversion, and delusion. The mind is always burdened with the greed, aversion, and delusion. liking and disliking emotions. It is the action, the contraction of the mind. Craving is the hunger of the mind. It is the unsatisfaction of the mind. The mind is not content with the present belonging and want to have more. And aversion is the disgusting state of the mind. The mind don't want to have the object that it faces. Want to refuse, want to escape, want to resist. And both these greed and aversion make the mind tight. The mind is burdened. And also the delusion, which is the self-identification. Once we identify ourselves with anything, then our mind is limited, is trapped into that thing. If we think that the body is me, then the mind is limited to the body. If we think that the feelings are me, then the mind is limited to the feelings. Or the thinking is me, and then the mind is limited to the thinking. So whatever we think we are, then the mind is limited to that area. This is self, and this is the creation of ego, which is the imprisonment of mind. The mind is limited, is trapped into that smaller objects. And all these greed, aversion, and delusion are the limited states of the mind. It is the suffering of the mind, the tension of the mind. And relaxing the mind means to relax the delusion, relax the greed and aversion. When the mind is awake from self-identification, then it is mindful. It is free from the prison. And once our mind is awake, when there's no delusion, greed and aversion don't exist, because they need to rely on delusion. To wake up the mind means to withdraw from the five khandhas, to wake up from the scenario that we are in, just like we are sitting in the cinema watching the movie. We think that we are the main character in the movie. And this is delusion. This is the creation of ego. So wake up simply means that realize that you are just a watcher. You are the observer to the movie. Just come back to be a watcher. Whatever happens to you in this body and mind, this is the mental movie. It is not you. You are not in here. They are just the objects. Whatever you are knowing, ask yourself, who is knowing? And we just withdraw our mind quietly from the delusion of the movie, come back to the to be a watcher. We are a humble knower. We are not the master of the movie, so we don't need to interfere. We don't need to control anything in this movie. Just let them be. And the body is breathing, and sometimes the brain is thinking or feeling, and the mind is knowing. The five khandhas are working themselves. There's no me within, and there's no me without. There is the knowing, but there's no me. Just let the mind know the breathing. Everything is belong to the nature. It's a phenomena. It's never belong to us. We are so used to the ego, and most of our life is spent in creating and reinforcing this ego. And all our cravings are, are serving for this ego. There are three kinds of cravings. The first is the sensual craving. Sensual craving is the craving of the senses of the body. It's the need of the body. The body thinks that this is good, that is bad. So I choose this. I don't like that. The body want to see something beautiful, to want to hear something, sort of good voice, good sound, to make it happy. Want to eat the delicious food. Want to think something good. These are all the cravings from the senses, the instincts of the body, because it is good for this physical body. The second is the craving to be, which means the craving for ego, a craving for a self-image. We think that I am I'm this person, I'm that person, I have this identity, I have this status, this history, and I'm a maybe relatively quite good person. I'm kind, and blah blah blah. A lot of descriptions, a lot of characteristics, and we want to strive to be a better self, better ego. When people praise us, this ego is reinforced. Then we will feel happy because the craving to be is fulfilled. They reinforce your existence of ego. They ascertain your ego. And craving not to be is the opposite. And I don't want to be this, I don't want to be that. And if you are being with something that you don't want to be, then you suffer. And there are a lot of scenarios where we are resisting. We don't want to put ourselves in the state of that people will refuse, will not accept our ego. And people say that you are so evil. But when you think that yourself is quite kind, then you cannot accept this. And this is the craving not to be. Craving to be and craving not to be is serving for the mental self. And the sense of craving is serving for the physical self. And all these kinds of cravings are trying to build up a self, build up the 5 khandhas as a result of clinging. The Panchupathana Khandha. And the Buddha said this is the cause of suffering. The more you reinforce this 5 khandha as a result of clinging, the more you reinforce this ego, then the more suffering you will have. Because everything is impermanent. No one can make sure that everyone will praise you every day. And every time you have the delicious food, everything is impermanent. Once you cannot take something you like, then you suffer. Old age, sickness, and death is a law of nature, but we cannot accept because we are so attached to this body. We cannot accept this body will get old, get sick, and dead. The reason is the attachment. It's the 3 kinds of craving. And we cannot accept living apart from our beloved ones. We cannot accept staying with someone we hate. And we cannot accept, we cannot fulfill our wants, fulfill our wishes. All these are cravings. We want to reinforce this ego. The life of most people are striving for this ego. And their happiness is based on these wants, these cravings. If they don't have any cravings, then they will not be happy when they are fulfilled. Just like if we don't like to eat chicken leg, then we will not enjoy eating chicken legs. The enjoyment has the foundation of wants, of cravings. If we don't like people to praise us as a kind person, then we will not enjoy such praise. We rather enjoy people saying that you are so wealthy, you are so handsome. So all these worldly pleasures comes from the craving. Cravings is the emptiness of mind, and the fulfillment, the external fulfillment, reduce the emptiness, fill up the emptiness, and during this process, we are satisfied, and we think that this is happiness. But once our cravings are fulfilled, we cannot gain any further fulfillment. So that's why we need to create a new craving. We need to create new wants. Otherwise, we don't have any source of happiness. So during in our whole life, we are doing this work. We're digging a hole and fill up the hole, creating the wants and fulfill the wants. This is the way to strive for happiness for the ordinary people. When Buddha understand this, he taught us to give up the wants. If we don't dig a hole on the ground, then the ground is originally flat. We don't need to fill it up again. If we don't create wants in our mind, the mind is in itself content. So we don't need to look for something to satisfy this mind. And this is the ultimate way to happiness, to contentment. When there's no wants, then our mind is content. So just now at this present moment, if we are content with the present moment, then we'll simply enjoy this moment. But if we are not content, when we have craving for playing the mobile phone after the meditation, then we will not be peaceful at this moment. Or if we cannot accept the pain in the knees at this moment, then we cannot be peaceful. We cannot enjoy this moment. We cannot enjoy because of the cravings. We cannot accept the pain, and we are not satisfied with what we already have. This is the reason to make us unsatisfied. The mind is dissatisfied. And such dissatisfaction itself being suffering. Why we need to make ourselves suffer? Why we cannot just simply enjoy this present moment, breathe in and out. It is in itself happy if we don't have any want for something else. And the practice in Buddhism is to reduce our creation of wants. We live in the precepts. This is to reduce our creation of wants, free from the stimuli that make our mind become discontent. There are so many sources of information arousing our desires in the society. And if we can live in a simple life, free from too much such messages, then our life will be safer. Our mind will be safer. And practice meditation, be mindful at the present moment. With the mindfulness, we bring our senses, protect our mind, and then the mind will be peaceful, free from creating the wants, digging the holes in the mind. Then this kind of living is much happier than the usual one. And with the reflection of on Dhamma, we understand the truth of impermanent suffering and non-self. Then the mind gives up to create any further cravings, because it knows that these cravings are the source, are the cause of suffering. And happiness is the state of being content with the present being. Just to live at the present moment. Wisdom is the deepest understanding of the mind. It is belong to the mind, not belong to us. Even we want to have wisdom, but we cannot order the mind to have wisdom. We just do, we just speak and think in a way to help the mind to cultivate wisdom. But we cannot directly give the wisdom to the mind. Even we understand all the Buddhist teaching, we remember everything in our brain, but we cannot make the mind understand. And what we can do are just precept, samadhi, and wisdom, cultivating in the Eightfold Path. Then let the mind understand itself. The practice is the practice of the mind, not practice of us. It is not we. It is not me that is practicing, but the mind practicing. This mind is cultivating itself in this big dream called life. Whatever the mind experiences, it is true for the mind. It is a chance to cultivate to be wise, cultivate to let go. So no matter what we face in our life, good or bad, are serving for this purpose. This is the ultimate purpose of life, cultivating the mind. Anything else are impermanent, never belong to us. Our family, our money, our social status, everything that we have in this life. We cannot, we need to let go before we die. Nothing is with us after we die. But the mind is with us. When the mind is well cultivated, then we'll be happy. And when the mind is defiled, then we'll suffer. This is true. This is the law of nature. So cultivation of mind is necessary. It's not an option in our life. Observing precepts, practice meditation, and cultivating wisdom is a must. It's not an option. If we are wise enough, then we know that this is the only way for happiness, the real happiness of mind. The happiness of the senses are impermanent. They are not long-lasting. And after you enjoyed, nothing left, no benefit at all. But the happiness of the mind is the peacefulness of the mind. And when our mind is peaceful, no matter where we live and how we live, we'll be happy. But when our mind is not peaceful, the whole life is a mess, no matter how much we have. Cultivate the mind to be peaceful. Peacefulness is not just the peacefulness of meditation. The ultimate peacefulness is the peace of the greed, aversion, and delusion. It's the pacification of the defilement. The word Nibbana means the absence of fire. Fire here means greed, aversion, and delusion. The fire of defilement. And there are also some other terms describing Nibbana, including Santi, which means peacefulness, and including Visankhara, means non-doing. So these are all pointing to the state without greed, aversion, and delusion. When our mind is free from these three kinds of fire, these three kinds of blind doing, then this mind is liberated. This is the ultimate happiness. Know the breathing in and out in the present moment. Pay attention to the right present moment. This is the only real moment in our life. There's only one point of being in our life, the present. And everything that we know will cease to exist immediately. Because everything we know, and once we know that, they are in the past already. So there are so many moments pass away. So every moment passes away, and that moment is forever gone. Our past moment breath is forever gone. Our past moment knowing is forever gone. And even the present moment, everything, including knowing and breathing, arising and ceasing immediately. This is the nature of present moment. This is the nature of the reality. Everything is impermanent. If we stay with the present moment, then we can easily see this nature. Actually, also called time. It's just a concept. We have the concept of time because there are the changes. If there are no changes, then we don't have any concept of time. So that's why when people are in the deep sleep or in the deep meditation, deep jhanas, their concept of time doesn't exist or so distorted. So they cannot have the normal concept of time in their perception. Maybe just 5 minutes, but actually they have slept or they have sit for several hours. This is because of the absence of changes. If we don't have changes, we don't have the concept of time. We cannot measure the time. So actually there are only changes, but there's no so-called time. Why we know that we are at the present moment? Because of the changes. And changes means impermanence. Because it is impermanent, then we have the sense of time. We think that we are a continuing being. This is also a concept. What it is real is that we are just living at the present moment, always changing. There's no permanent self. There's no durable being. This is the true nature of existence. But we are always deluded in the concepts. If we just simply live awakened at the present moment, then the truth, the Dhamma is just simply in front of us. So no matter how it is, peaceful or not peaceful, these are also impermanent. The more important is to live at the present moment. Even you are not peaceful in the meditation, just know that the mind is not peaceful. And that's it. That's the mindfulness. Just look at these 5 khandhas as someone else, not as a self, not as a master. Okay, time's up for today. Okay, number 12.
Hello, Ajahn.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How is it today?
Yeah. Today the mind was following was awake even if the body is tired. I didn't sleep well, but the mind was following, and there was some kind of release of. It was interesting to see how how these concepts you have given were allowing the mind to open up and relax.
Yes, and do nothing.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
There was
I
not
feel
so much distraction.
uh, we just be open and be aware to the process, to whatever happened to us. And it is not we who makes our mind peaceful, but
Mm,
the mind uh, is peaceful itself. The nature makes the mind peaceful. Because the mind is not peaceful because of our mastering action. We are always controlling this mind with the greed, aversion, and delusion. So that's why it's not peaceful. But once we withdraw from the role of master and just let it be there, we just know it, then it will settle down itself. Uh, so it is not we that make the mind peaceful. Uh, just be open and be knowing. That's all.
mm,
Uh, and we can just give some humble advice for this body and mind when the
mm.
mind is not balanced. Uh, so we can advise the mind to relax or advise the mind to be open, advise mind to let go. Uh, and this is what we can do, but we have no right to control. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. And how is your daily life?
My daily life, I um, uh, right now it's a little bit like uh, complicated by work with a lot of thoughts about it. That usually, and not precisely now, but usually, um, there is an interest uh, towards the remembrance of Dhamma during the also this complicated time. So, for example, if something happens or a person is not, someone is behaving in a way that is not
Uh,
pleasant or even
yeah.
unwholesome.
Uh,
uh, the thing is also I was really noticing that this is, or something happens that is not for me positive, then it's just to notice that this is happening. It's not anything I can change. It's some kind of result. And it's this kind of thoughts that come up, which are more within the Dharma, more than to be within something like business or.
yeah, these are all coming to teach us the truth of non-self. Uh, so remember what I said. Everything is for cultivation of the mind. Uh,
Mm,
the purpose of our life is to cultivate this mind. We can gain nothing from this life except this. So if we face to this life with this correct attitude, we have nothing to lose, right? So whatever happened, so just know that it is impermanent, suffering and non-self. And this is the lesson. And if we think in this way, if we face with this attitude, then the mind can easily let go when the time passes. We should allow the mind to sometimes to be upset, sometimes to be sorrow, sometimes to be down. But after time passes, we should let go because this is the lesson.
yeah.
Uh,
And we usually are in Thailand or planning or packing to come to Thailand, and this year we don't because of COVID.
uh,
And it's an incredible uh, surprise to see that actually we have Thailand at home every Sunday. So
Yeah, it's,
that is really
yeah. I also want to see you all in Thailand, but not this year. This year is
well,
special.
it's here special.
uh, yeah, but just keep practice at your country,
Yeah,
uh, and 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 we can also meet online, and this is quite uh, special chance.
yeah.
And Luang Por just gave an announcement to everyone and allow me to use mobile phone because of this. uh, so treasure your time. Every moment is our treasure.
Yeah, and there
Uh,
is a thing that when I was looking at pictures of masters or of meditation hanging in the Dharma halls in different places, I
uh,
didn't really I didn't really take it in how important it is to have the memory, to have the understanding that these masters exist or have existed. So we have a picture of Rompo here, and it is a very good reminder, a
mm,
very good connection
yeah,
that this exists.
mm, yeah. So it reminds you to live in Dhamma.
Mm.
And everything like a Buddha statue or Dhamma books are serving for this purpose.
Mm.
It keep us to live in Dhamma. And to live in Dhamma means practice in the Eightfold Path. So once we remember, we should improve our practice in the Eightfold Path, our precept, samadhi, and wisdom. Try to spend every day in this way. And this is the best lesson for the mind. This is the best way to spend our life. Mm. Okay.
Thank you.
13.
Good morning, Ajahn.
Good morning.
This morning in the meditation, it feels like now and then in this period, I find that the mind is really like, in some way able to, I don't know, to withdraw or to rest in a way that it's in some way new to me. And so also this morning that it's like, it's as if it's withdrawing from a lot of
Yeah, a lot of burdens.
yeah.
We
Yeah.
have so many burdens in our mind.
Yeah.
We are usually shouldering a lot of weight when we are living our daily life, but we don't know. Only when we are doing the meditation, when we can really relax, then we know the difference.
Yeah.
So meditation is in itself a rest of brain, rest of mind. Is to rest from the greed, aversion, and delusion temporarily. So the mind has the time to have a real leisure. It doesn't need to work during this period. So it's a rest, a recharging for the mind. And after we gain enough energy from the rest, we come back to work with the greed, aversion, and delusion. So that's right. The meditation is serving for this purpose, and nothing more than this. And only when we are facing directly to the suffering with our right view, then we can grow in wisdom. And this is more important, but we need to take rest sometimes. And how is your work now? Are you happy in your work?
Right now, it's like no, I'm quite frustrated. In daily life, it's like it feels like a frustration of not being more mindful in my life. And so there is like a frustration of not having more progress in some way in daily life, but it's like it is. So, and right now, actually, we are in a semi home retreat with Ajahn Brahmali from Australia. So it's a good time in that way, but generally there is a frustration that I see too much kilesas actually. So that's not so funny, but it's like.
But it is also good to see the defilement, because the defilement are always there. But it's good to see them, to know them. The worst situation is that they are there, but we don't know it. We can't see it. We think this is normal. And this is a way to cultivate the defilement. But when we see that, when we feel that it is suffering, that we will not identify with it, and this is cultivating wisdom. Seeing is suffering. So it is good, although it may not feel good, but it is good.
Okay. Yeah.
And keep your mind steady, keep your mind neutral to this. All these are just feelings. We suffer in the level of feelings, but we gain the happiness in the level of mind, because the mind will not identify with the defilement. This is the release of the mind. But in the feelings level, we are not so pleasurable. But these are just impermanent. They will pass with time. When the time passes, then nothing left. But we gain in cultivating our mind, and this is good. So face to them directly, no fear. If we want to escape from it, this is a kind of aversion. Just be neutral to the suffering, and let the mind learn itself.
Thank you.
And number 4. Number 4. You need to unmute yourself first.
Okay.
Okay. Are you from Malaysia?
Yeah, from Malaysia, KL.
So how is the meditation today?
Okay. At the beginning, I feel the tightness during the exhalation, and also the tightness at the throat area. So, and I try to focus the exhalations instead of the inhalation. And then after that, there is a bright light, some sort of. And after that, I feel that the tightness dissolve, and I focus on my meditation again. Actually, just now during the Dharma talk, Ajahn, the earlier stage, I'm listening, but after that, I will just focus on my meditation. I just focus on my meditation. And today, I'm keeping my 8 precepts.
Good. Sadhu. And the way to listen to Dhamma talk can go together with meditation, if we know the right way to do. So know the breathing with a open awareness. We don't need to fix ourselves into this breathing. We don't need to defend the breathing. Just simply know that there's breathing out and in. It's effortless. You can just simply set the breathing as the background of your meditation. and you can allow there are some thoughts, there are some feelings, sensations, or there are the Dhamma talk. So just like watching a drama, and there's someone playing the drama on the platform, and the background is breathing. When there's no one playing, then the background is in front of you. It doesn't matter, because all the meditation object serve for only one purpose, is to keep the mind present. We are not cultivating the meditation object. We are not practicing the breathing, right? We are practicing the mind. So the breathing is a tool for cultivating the mind. Cultivate the mind to be mindful, to be with the present moment. So when the mind can find the balance, can stand firm in the present moment, the meditation object is not that important. We don't need to hold tight to the object all the time. Just leave it, be there, be the background. You will not disappear, and be open to the present moment. And you'll find that you can know the breathing all the time, and you can understand the Dhamma talk together. This is the what I said, to do the meditation with the open awareness. Then the awareness will be more complete. It's a full awareness. A full awareness means that it is all-embracing. It knows automatically. When the mind is not complete, it can just know one direction. And you need to direct the light like a torch. If you want to look at the breathing, then you need to turn the direction to the breathing. And you want to know other things, you need to turn away from it. But when the awareness is complete, then the knowing is like an electric bulb. The light is all direction. It knows the breathing and also knows the Dhamma talk. Because we try to defend. We think that something else, something other than this, is kind of distraction to our meditation. So this is the aversion. Because of this aversion, our mind is limited. Our mind is not complete. You can try next time when we listen to a Dhamma talk, try to do it with an open mind, open awareness. And breathing will not fight with the Dhamma, believe me. They are peaceful. Okay. Or maybe you can listen to the past recordings and try to do that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Number 5. How are you?
Okay.
Can you keep your practice every day?
Now not really every day. Very busy with my packing and other stuff that I have to complete before returning home.
So when are you returning home?
When?
When? Yeah.
Not so sure, but definitely before Long Paul's birthday.
Oh, still have a long time. you need several months to pack.
I give ample time for myself.
Okay. You better give some practice time for yourself.
Practice time, okay. But for today I was able to concentrate more on your instruction, your teaching. So not really the mind didn't really jumping out that often like before. Maybe because I have less, my how to say, whatever I need to prepare is less now. So a little bit relaxed. Yeah.
Yeah. We don't need to be worried about that. And no matter how much we worry about that, we have nothing. We just need to do a good plan and do accordingly. That's all. And our mind don't need to be worried. Our mind don't need to work. It's still having a leisure time. No matter how busy the body is, the mind can be as usual. Don't need to do the thing like the body. So this is to let the mind take rest. To rest from the worries, first from the greed, aversion, and delusion. Busy is the body, but not the mind. And it is also important to plan some time to let the brain take a rest. And can you keep your chantings every day?
Not nowadays. Being bad students nowadays.
Okay, so it is.
We'll try.
It is quite meaningful for you to come to this session. I'll ask you next week too.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else?
No, nothing else to report.
Okay.
Sadhu.
And 14.
Good afternoon, Ajahn.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, today, okay, the session is very peaceful. I'm able to at least focus in the present moment, listening to Ajahn. So it's good. Yeah, just now Ajahn was mentioning about open awareness. Yeah, I think right now I'm like beginning to do open awareness compared to before. Before, like my mind tend to switch to the inner self when instead of listening to Ajahn. But I was wondering, now I really change it like present moment. But the good thing is that even though I'm listening to Ajahn, at the same time, I'm also aware of what is in my mind. Like
yes, that's it.
Both like I'm able to handle both lah, and also because there are a lot of aversion inside also as I am listening, so I also watch the aversion at the same time listening to Ajahn. So I think it's so. Ajahn was mentioning that it's called open awareness, is it?
Yes.
so I suppose I was So I was doing open awareness. Yeah, I think this is good. It's very alert.
Yeah, it is relaxed. It is because it's because of aversion or worries or the want to defend that fixes of our mind, fixes our mind into a small area, into a small object, and we feel something other than this outside this area. We think that something outside this area is a distraction, is something evil. We don't like it. So that's why our mind is limited. Our mind is closed. And open awareness means we don't set the boundary for ourselves, for the knowing. But the breathing is just inside the knowing. And we don't need to protect it. We don't need to set a boundary for it. So it is there, and the awareness is there. Then you know naturally. It's not. We don't need to do anything for knowing. We don't need to concentrate in order to know, right? So just this knowing is easy. It's natural, and will be more easily practiced in our daily life. Because it is less conditional. If we the kind of awareness out as a result of concentration is very conditional. We need to concentrate to a certain level in order to know. But actually, simply knowing is the natural function of the mind. We don't need to concentrate before we can know. And the limitation is not the distraction from outside, but our aversion, our resistance to the distractions. If we simply open and know, nothing can move our mind. The mind is at the middle, and it knows everything around. And doing this kind of awareness is not, the mind will not be stressed. And samadhi can come as a result that when the mind becomes more and more stable with this open awareness, it is a samadhi of that the mind stay at the middle, not with the particular object, but with the what I call the middle emptiness. The simile is that the middle of a ring. You know a ring, right? It's a turning ring, like a turning wheel. Now, if we hold on to any part of the ring, then we are interrupting its movement. And if we are completely outside the ring, we cannot follow its movement. So the ring now means our 5 khandhas, our 5 aggregates. They are working all the time. If we hold on to any part of it, we are interfering. But the way that we can stay with it without interfering it is to stay at the middle of the ring. The middle of the ring is the emptiness, the empty space in the ring. So it's the same when we when now knowing these 5 khandhas, just be at the middle of these 5 khandhas. Whatever happening around us, and we don't need to get in touch with it, don't need to attach to it, but we are with it. So set the mind at the middle means this. We are inside these 5 khandhas, but we are not within any part of the 5 khandhas. Do you understand?
Yeah.
That's it. Good.
But that like sometimes it's like got carried away into the emotion. Sometimes like so I need to be.
Yeah. Emotion is also part of the 5 khandhas. It's also part of the ring. Once we are aware, we come back to the middle. That's we just do in the same way as we do to the body.
Okay. Now I understand. Instead of going into the emotion, you stay in the middle. Just watch. Okay.
So that's the meaning of the question, who is knowing? Once we ask this question, we mind ourselves, then we come back to the middle.
I understand. Okay. Thank you, Ajahn.
Yeah. And 17?
Hi, good afternoon, Ajahn Yiu. Let's see.
You are from Malaysia, right?
No,
okay. Where are you now?
I'm in Australia now.
Australia.
Yeah.
How's your studies?
It's okay. It's going good. Very busy now, so I decided to come for a session. Try it out. Yeah.
Are you studying architecture?
Yeah. That's it.
Nice.
Yeah, still studying architecture.
Focus on your studies.
And meditation.
Yeah. How is your meditation today?
It was not bad. But it was very easy I saw a lot of like distractions and thoughts coming through, or even maybe like feelings of heat because it's quite hot today. So that was constantly
in Australia.
Yeah. So it was constantly going through my mind. But yeah, I just know it and then try to continue and listen to the talk, which helped a lot. Yeah.
Do you practice meditation usually?
Not usually, but from time to time, maybe before sleep in the nighttime.
Oh, not bad,
Yeah.
not bad.
Yeah.
Good.
But this is like my
And-
first long session in a long time.
So with the instruction, it's easier to have a longer sit.
Yeah.
So when you are doing the meditation, start from the right view. So we lack the sense of being a master to this body. We start from here, and when the brain is agitated, we can pay attention to the brain area and relax the brain with the breathing. Or even you can just simply have a feeling that let the brain take a sleep in the breathing. And this is a way to deal with the agitation and also the sleepiness. Sleepiness is a natural result of agitation. When the agitation is calmed, then the hidden tiredness of the brain will come up to you, and that is the sleepiness. They are impaired. The way to deal with this is the same. Just let the brain take a sleep. But let the brain take sleep doesn't mean that the mind takes sleep. The mind is not the brain. I will just look at the brain as part of the body. It's an organ of this body. And intentionally let the brain take a sleep. Actually, the mind will not sleep. The mind is free from the sleepiness. It's relaxed from the sleepiness. You can try this when you having a problem agitation or snort and torpor. And when the mind is and the brain is balanced, then our attention will be clear. Our awareness will be sharp. Then it's easy to do the following stages. So the beginning stage, resting the brain is the most important. The quality of meditation are always decided by this stage. And it is also especially important to use this method as a balance to our studies. Because when in our studies, we need to use a lot of brain. And let the brain take a rest is a very good balancing exercise. You can maybe for each 1 hour or 2 hours, you can take a 5 minutes rest. Just let the brain completely shut down. As what we said, 闭目養神. Just close the eyes and to rest our energy in the mind. It's very important, and you have a accumulating effect. You raise our standard level of mindfulness. So are you good in your studies?
Okay, not too bad.
Not too bad.
Sometimes I may do not as well as I expected, but I try hard, so that's
and the important secret to success in the studies or in meditation is precept. So we need to have self-discipline. Reduce the level of sensual craving. This is the strongest distraction for any kinds of success in our life. Our energy is drained by the sensual craving a lot. We spend a lot of time and energy in looking for the sensual pleasure. So it is foolish. So observing the precept is to protect the mind. When the mind has enough energy, then it can cultivate in any field. Our studies has no problem, and our practice no problem. Our mind will be peaceful and energized. We'll be happy, and will normally be kind to other people when the mind feels content we feel bad when the mind is not content, and we try to look at everything in a negative way, and everything will go worse. So it's very important to protect the mind, to keep it in a positive state, observing the precepts, practicing samadhi, and reflecting on Dhamma. This is cultivation of mind. And finally, we will find that everything in our life is serving for this purpose. This is the highest purpose in our life, the only thing that we can gain from this life, right? So anything other than this are just temporary. But finally, the growth of our mind is quite permanent to us. It will accompany us for many lives until we attain Nibbana. This is more treasurable thing to cultivate. Don't get lost in the sensual pleasures. And manage your time. Don't spend too much time in mobile phones, internet, games like this. Do you?
Not too much. Not as much now. Yeah, I'm pretty good with that.
Good. Nice to hear that.
It's just mostly studying. And, I have a lot of commitments. So it makes my mind very busy and distractible, I say.
And you can take rest with the samadhi practice. We don't need to set a too long time for us at the beginning. Otherwise, it will be too stressful. Just maybe for 5 or 10 minutes. It's time to rest the brain. Just tell yourself to rest the brain, to rest in the breathing, and let the brain take a rest. And when you master this skill, then you will enjoy it. But doing this itself is kind of peacefulness, it's happiness. The mind will be content to the present moment. It is happy in itself. Okay.
Thank you.
Nice to see you.
You too.
And 16.
Hello there. How are you?
Yeah. How are you?
It's a long time no see.
Yeah, long time no see. How is your meditation today?
My meditation's good. Yeah, Sue and I have been meditating over the phone for the last almost 12 months now. So we try and meditate at least 3 times a week, and we have done up to 5. It depends on the travel commitments, and that's been good. And I've started these conference calls, which it's another way of meeting people outside of that as well, another medium, and they've worked quite well. I couldn't get onto it. We tried last week with yourself, but for some reason it just wouldn't accept me to come in. But I was listening to it on her phone.
Yeah. So you can take this as kind of a platform to keep the practice, and because with the group practice, it gives us better energy.
But I'm also really happy to see you again.
Yeah, your mouth is so sweet.
I always enjoyed your company.
Yeah. So everything so far so good.
And I miss those retreats.
Yeah, in the Lantau Island, right?
Yeah. And in China, we lived there for 6 months. There was nothing like that.
Yeah.
We were planning, as I said, we were planning to come and see you. It hasn't happened.
Now, which city are you living in Australia?
I'm living in Sydney. I heard the architect guy, where is he living?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm in Sydney as well. Yeah.
In Sydney as well.
Yeah.
Maybe you are neighbors.
Neighbors compared to the rest of the people there. He's still a big place anyway. That's all right. It's easier to find someone in Sydney than in Thailand at the moment.
Nice to see you. So hope to see you next week again.
Yeah? Yeah, you'll see me next week.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk to you.
Yeah. And number 18.
Ajahn, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, today meditation was okay. So basically, I can be aware of my working mind. It carried on from yesterday because I was designing some circuiting and mindful with that circuit. Can still focus on Ajahn's voice. Yeah.
Can you take rest? Yeah, in the meditation.
Yeah. I don't feel stress. You just let it. Yeah. Because
you can let go.
Yeah.
So it is a very good way to ensure our mental health by doing the meditation. If one day we find that we cannot rest our brain from the agitation, then we have problem. And if this lasts too long, then it's likely to have mental problems. So take breaks for the mind. Not just in the formal meditation, but you can take some small breaks, 5 minutes within 2 hours, and it's a very good way to balance the brain. You are too busy. You're always torturing yourself.
Not really, Ajahn, because I enjoy doing my work.
Okay. That's good. Yeah. And enjoy doing the work and do it mindfully. Then you can take rest in the work. Yeah. Okay. Number 7.
Ajahn. So today's meditation, the drowsiness was not that overpowering. And yeah, it was okay. So I was, but I noticed that I kind of, so I was kind of calm, for the first half, and I was listening to your Dhamma talk. And then I kind of sensed that there's some craving or aversion, like the mind is not satisfied with the current state. So it kind of triggered the restlessness in the brain. So I started thinking, but then I kind of noticed that there's kind of a relationship between the two. There's the feeling is kind of affecting the brains because they have some kind of like looping effects. Then I just pay attention to that, and then eventually they just calm down, and then I was just content, just listening to your Dhamma talk in the end. And so that's pretty much it.
Yeah, just find a balance point in the meditation, so the mind is open and also will not separate from our meditation object. It is that kind of mind is open and still and stable. It is I think it's a better way to stabilize the mind, because it's not kind of stabilizing as a result of concentration or tightly grasping to any object. It is a kind of settle down naturally at the middle. When the mind, we set the mind at the middle, and it becomes more and more stable when we continue, and it becomes settled down at the middle. And when the mind becomes stable at the middle, then everything is easy. You can pay attention to anything without moving. The mind is completely be one with anything that you want to know. And if you just simply stay at the middle, then you know the breathing, and you also know the Dharma talk. You know your mind's thinking, everything happening in this moment. You know everything. When the mind is at the middle, then it is flexible. When it is attached to a particular object, then it is not that flexible. It may be clear and concentrated, but not flexible. But when we set the mind at the middle, it is stable and also flexible. As Luang Pu Cha said, the still flowing water. The water is still and also flowing. So it is concentrated, and it is also kind of flowing, sweet. It is a combination of samadhi and wisdom. It's a combination of mindfulness and full awareness, sati sampajanya. Do you understand?
Yes, thank you.
So when we know how to set the mind at the middle, then we can do exactly the same in our daily life. When we are working, or whether our mind is peaceful or not peaceful is not important. Simply come back to the mind and continue our living. So you can try to do it with the help of the question, who is knowing? Just ask, just whisper at the corner of your mind, who is knowing? And then we come back to the middle. Okay, try to do this.
Okay, thank you, Ajahn.
Number 6.
Can you hear?
Yes.
Yeah. It's quite busy for typing. The work is busy, so that's why I haven't seen you for a while. And by the way, especially these 2 days, I'm really tired of attachment. My mind tells me it's really tired of attachment of anything, because it's really tight, and then it's no point to be on attachment, because it seems to me this it's like a dream in this world, because it's really tight if you really want to have any attachment. If not attachment, our mind can be really free. I can experience the difference in between that. So that's why I'm really tired of the attachment. Yeah, that's all. That's all I feel.
We don't need to attach, but we can still perform our duties in the world. We need to perform our duties, and regard it as kind of practice for the mind. It's kind of practicing to give, to sacrifice. Because actually practice is practicing in this direction. We are to relinquish and not to gain. So give to other people. We may not feel good, but the mind gains energy from the sacrificing. So separate the level of mind and feeling. Sometimes something we don't feel good doesn't mean it's not good. Something we don't feel good, but it's good for the mind. Or something we feel good in the senses, but it's not good for the mind. The mind suffers. Usually we are looking for the sensual pleasures rather than the happiness of the mind. The happiness of the mind is the mind, is the peacefulness, is the pacification of greed, aversion, and delusion. This is the happiness of mind. So we sacrifice our sensual pleasures for the mind, rather than sacrificing the mind for the sensual pleasures. So it doesn't matter. It is tiring. and it doesn't feel good when we are involved in this world, but we devote ourselves to do it as kind of giving to the world. Then the mind is free. If we don't like it, if we want to escape, then the mind suffers from the aversion already. So when we are facing the worldly work, just concentrate on the work. Try to do it better, to give more. Then the mind is free from the aversion. Actually, the more we focus on the work, the more energy the mind will gain.
Understand. Thank you. Because from what I say, attachment is that the 500, that kind of attachment is what I feel. It's like that. But for the work is okay, even though it's tired. I understand what you're talking about. It's just giving for as much as we can, because it's just for anything we can try to help, and then we help. That's all. What I feel is that the 500, that one called that kind of attachment, and then I don't think that I suddenly
when we are giving, then actually we are overcoming our 5 hindrances. Because the 5 hindrances has the common source, that is attachment to the ego. When we are giving, actually it is reducing this ego. We are less selfish, and that is reducing this ego. When the ego is lessened, then the 5 hindrances will be reduced too. So they are combined because sacrificing is a cultivation of wisdom. It is very high level practice. It's difficult, not that easy to do. Maybe we can sacrifice to a certain level, but not a 100%. We still have a small self in the corner of the mind.
I don't think I can sacrifice 100%. I understand what you're talking about, but on the whole, it's still a long way to progress. But I think at least I feel a little bit a bit progress, but it's a long way to go. But I'm trying my best on my daily life. That's all. Thank you, Ajahn. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
And number 3.
Okay. Good morning, Ajahn.
Good morning.
Well, for today's meditation, well, as usual, the mind goes away from time to time, and and then gently comes back. I can observe it. Just keep wondering. And for daily life in the over the past week, as usual again, lots of aversion. And there is also a case there on one time, and my colleague because nowadays due to COVID, lots of companies, especially in the aviation industry, has to undergo lots of restructuring and lots of personnel changes, something like that. And I'm also asked to, I'm also already been informed to be redeployed to another operation team. Actually, that is redeployed to my previous operation team. So my team members, after my team members know that actually, I'm not the only one. Totally, there are 3, including me. And after some other colleagues know that, they, of course, they feel upset because they don't want me to go because we can work very well together. Get on very well. And and just because before he finished work and left, he told me that be careful of a particular person because he know that that guy kept bad mouthing me, and asked me to be careful. Actually, that is not something new. I know that for long. But still, after that, this best friend left, because after he left, and I get back to my seat and work over, I think over 3 hours, my mind just kept wandering between this issue, this matter, and my work. And of course, I try myself to keep my awareness and just knowing that, okay, the angry mind here, and then I go back to work, and then angry mind again, and then work again. And actually also at the same time, because the tasks I was doing at that time don't need to use much of my mind, I was actually listening to the Buddha story on YouTube. So actually, my mind is just like going between the angry sign and also the year, the sun. And then until one point that I find that I often missed a part of the Buddha story. I need to keep replaying it, but still I'm not success. I didn't succeed. I still missed that part of the story. And then I realized that, okay, what's going on? That is because the mind is in delusion. And then I tell myself, well, actually, that is not something new. I knew that guy for long, and I wonder what happened and what makes my mind keep holding on to this matter. And then I realized that just because my image, my ego got hurt. And then after that point, I find that everything got released. It gone. Eventually it gone.
Sometimes when we simply realize the truth, then the fabrications stops. It is natural. If we have the mindfulness and wisdom, if we are pointing to the right source of suffering, then we can solve the problem. So for once and twice, and if we do it many times, then we'll be skillful in doing this. And once there are defilement happening in the mind, we can immediately let go, because all the sufferings comes from the attachment to the ego, from the 3 kinds of cravings. All the problems are from our mind. If our mind has no problem, then the external matter is not a problem. It's a task, but not a problem. So we can stay mindful with our work. We can be peaceful with the work, and be content with the present moment. The the obstacle is inside, not outside. So for every time when we are facing to this situation, and we turn back to the inside, then our understanding will grow in the process. It makes the mind easier to let go. This is the growth of wisdom.
Thank you.
Okay, so I have asked all those who are attending only to this session, and now is the free questioning time. If you have any question, you can ask freely. More questions? So if you don't have any question, then we can have a earlier end. I can have a longer rest today. Today I'm a little bit tired. That's why I was late. Sorry for that.
Ask how you're keeping.
Take care, Ajahn.
Okay.
And thank you very much for Ajah's teachings and his precious time. Let's bow to him for 3 times. Ajahn, Anjali Vadana Abhivadana. Anjali Vadana Abhivadana. Anjali Vadana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you very much for all of you, and hope to see you next week.
Thank you.
And
keep well.
If anyone want to have a casual chat with Ajahn, please just stay behind. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Ajahn.
Thank you.
Take care, Ajahn. Thank you, Alam. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
You. Bye.
Bye.